Hello everyone, welcome to Joe Consume Cinema. I am your host, the Ghost of Christmas Past, and that reminds me of a severely long story. And today we have the launch of a new channel segment, Joe Revisits. So in order for something to be a revisit, it has to be a movie that I've seen and something I deeply enjoy and, really speaks to me personally. And the movie that we're going to launch the segment with is The Drop 2014. Now, this is a movie that I'm guessing a majority of you have not seen. So if that's the case, please do me a big favor, pause this video and go watch that movie because that is way too good of a movie for you to have it spoiled watching this. I'm a big fan of other reactors, and sometimes when they watch a movie that I know, I will have no intention of ever seeing, so it's like, no big loss to go watch their reaction to it and have that spoil the movie for me. This is not the case at all. This movie is fantastic, and for whatever reason, it doesn't get half the play that it deserves. And kind of one of the reasons that I've chosen to launch this series with this movie is because I want other reactors to react to this movie. I'm not joking when I say I think there's literally one person on YouTube that has this movie up as a reaction, and it's not a big YouTuber, it's a smaller channel. So I for sure, want this to get more attention, but not at the cost of actually spoiling the movie if you haven't seen it. So again, if you haven't seen it, please, pause this, just go watch it. It's a really, really good movie. So The Drop 2014, starring Tom Hardy, James Gandolfini, and Noomi Rapace. So this is actually the last movie that Gandolfini made before he passed away. People know him from The Sopranos, Tony Soprano. Great show if you haven't seen it. And Tom Hardy's been in like literally everything: Inception, The Dark Knight as Bane, like so many different things. He's got a really wide range, and he's a great actor. Noomi Rapace has been in a fair bit of movies. This is actually the thing I remember her most from recently. I can't remember anything else off the top of my head, but I know she's been around, and you recognize her face when you see her. But this movie is fantastic. So again, if you haven't seen it, pause this video, go watch it. You won't be disappointed. I promise you. I chose this movie to launch the revisiting series because I feel like it's a really good movie to do it with, and I want to bring attention to this movie as much as possible. I'm actually going to do something a bit brave, I think, and tag some of my favorite reactors, and fingers crossed that they don't get mad at me for doing that, but I kind of want to draw attention to this movie anyway, so we're going to take a chance. And with that, I just want to say, please remember to blank, blank, and blank. Helps the channel out a lot, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got, so we're going to get right into this one.
Money changes hands all night long. It's not the kind that you can deposit in a bank. But all that money, it needs to end up somewhere. They call it a drop ball. The bosses choose randomly each night to be the safe for an entire city. It's just 10 bars.
So right away it establishes that there's a criminal element here, but our main character keeps it arm's length as best he can. So it's there, but he's not involved with it directly.
Hey, somebody want to say something for the kid?
Cousin Marv.
Richie Glory Days Whelan. Fort Hamilton class of 92 and a funny prick. They arrested him. Glory Days.
Toasting their dead friend.
When they're celebrating the anniversary of a very close friend, Marv.
Kid's been dead, what, 10 years now? Gotta be a point where you move on. Stop scoring free drinks off a corpse.
Yeah, right away Marv is established as a not very likable character.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
He's not taking communion. I love dogs, and to see this is very angering, to say the least.
What are you doing in my trash?
You have a dog in your trash can.
Someone beat the shit out of this dog.
She has a scar in her neck from something.
Need a crate.
No, Nadia done yet. Nadia done yet? That's the girl that's holding the dog.
you know whose money you're jacking here?
Fucking fill the bag!
Every morning we see each other and we never met.
That's right.
Detective Evandro Torres.
I'm Bob Saganowski.
Guys with the guns. We'll take a walk.
Yeah, sure. When the guy closest to me, I can see that his watch is stopped.
Why don't you take communion?
Excuse me?
I've seen you at Mass for years. You haven't taken communion once.
Yeah, well, that's my business.
Why the fuck would you tell that cop about the watch?
I don't know.
Right? It's their bar, it's their money.
Okay.
They're gonna want it back.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
You know, Tom Hardy still has that dog. I do know that. He adopted him after the movie.
Somebody robbed my bar. Find my fucking money, eh?
Find my money. If we knew where the money was, that would mean that we knew who robbed us, which would mean we were in on it.
Was it Marv? He got pushed off his own book, was it 9-10 years ago by the Chechens? His bar got held up the other night. Bar's owned by one of Papa Umarov's shell companies.
What kind of dumbass holds up one of his bars?
Got me.
So Marv was a bookie, and he got pushed out by the Chechens, who now control his bar.
What's the next step? When do we hit a real drop bar?
Let's just assume that I'm not some asshole without a plan, all right? When an airplane goes down, what's the safest airline to fly the next day?
The one that had the crash.
Right, there you go.
So Marv is playing a really dangerous game. He set up the robbery.
I'll be right back.
They make a good couple, I think. But like all nice moments, they can't last forever.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a nice looking dog, man. Hey, man, how you doing? Mind if I step in? It's kind of cold outside. Can I help you? Yeah. Where are you keeping him? What are you talking about? Talking about the dog. You got my dog. No, it's my dog. You beat him. I'll tell the cops you did. What do you want? It's kind of sunny, right? But you never know, I guess.
I never ask about it. Only person I ever met didn't ask about it, like the first 5 minutes.
It's your business, not mine.
You tell me when you tell me or you won't.
I did it to myself. I was pretty high.
But it's not your bar Chavka took.
That was 10 years ago.
No, that was 8.5 years ago.
Marv is not happy about being pushed out. That's odd.
You need to see this, Marv.
No, I don't.
That's the guy that robbed them. His arm, at least. The ease with which he wraps this thing is very disturbing.
Like you're wrapping a piece of meat.
Hey, guys, you got any Zima?
No, we're closed.
Say hi to Nadia. And don't forget to stitch her up when she stabs herself, all right?
Jeez. Look at the red.
He's the guy who says he killed Richie Whelan. That's Eric Deeds. He's fucking squashed, that guy. Been in the joint a couple times. He did a dirty day in the cuckoo house, if I recall. So you watch that fucking kid.
Bob is very calm, and Marv is losing his mind over here from the stress. Getting rid of the evidence.
Richie Whelan.
Huh? What about him?
You know?
Sure. I mean, his friends were in the bar the other day. They were toasting his anniversary.
What anniversary?
The anniversary of the last time anybody saw him.
Which was at your bar.
That's right. Yeah, he left.
You know an Eric Deeds? Tall guy?
Nah. You think this guy maybe robbed the bar?
I'm hearing here and there that this guy got something to do with the Whelan disappearance.
So you know Eric Deeds, huh?
What? No. I don't know him, you know?
That's funny because when you said it, I figured it.
Figured what?
I don't know.
I ate on my ass about it.
So I was just asking a question.
No, you're insinuating.
There's something more there, obviously.
Hand over drop.
All right. Which night?
Super Bowl.
Biggest drop of the year.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't care if you know him. It's just that the way that he said hi, you know, it sounded like it meant something. He said the Rocco was his.
He used to be my boyfriend.
Everybody has a past. And if this guy put Rocco in your trash, then that's not your fault.
He killed a kid named Florides.
Yeah.
You're not a hard guy. So why do you work there?
Yeah, Marv, he thought he was a tough guy. We had a crew once. Back in the day when we was young, you know, we made a little money. We flinched, that's it. End of the crew.
You're still in the life.
Me?
Yeah.
No. No. No, no. No, I just tend the bar.
Keeps it at arm's length. It's still an element that's in his life. It's just he's not an active part of it.
Don't you fuck with me.
Nobody's fucking
Don't you fucking dare.
Nobody's fucking with you.
You hear?
Yeah, his brother's gone, so he's super jumpy.
But I know what a Super Bowl drop-off's gonna be. So you want to hit him back for Bry? You hit him back for $1 million. Fucking Trump, you didn't close it.
I closed that fucking thing.
Not very well. You gotta get behind it. Slam it with 2 hands.
Oh boy. Yeah, Marv was not going to be taking that chance there. If he's not going to do the job, he's of no use to him. He's just a liability. Deeds was in his place. That's terrifying.
I was wondering why you don't like my cousin.
He took my dog.
Why didn't take your dog? You beat the crap out of it and you put it in the garbage can.
I felt bad about it. That count?
No.
But he shouldn't have fucked with me.
This guy should have never been let back out.
And I think there's a way that you and I can sort that out.
Eric needs psych file.
What's he see?
Well, I'll be damned.
Something big.
You gotta give me 10. What? 10 grand. By tomorrow morning. Hey, listen here, pal. You can't come walking into people's lives and expect them to... Listen. Take it easy. Listen to me. That is life. That's what it is. People like me come along when you're not looking. Just get my money, 10 a.m. your place, all right? And if you don't get it, I'll go to the cops and I'll get my dog back. Simple. And then I'll forget to feed it for a while. And then when the dog gets all yappy about it, I'm gonna beat his fucking head with a rock. All right, you picture that? Yeah. Remember what I did to Richie Wheeler?
Because I used to own it once.
Yeah, you've been playing that flute for a long time now. Well, if you can't redo it, all right? They pressed, you blinked, it's done, it's over. It's been over for a while now. Are you doing something desperate? Again? Are you doing something that maybe we can't clean up this time?
Look, I told you I'm not feeling good. So, why don't you get the fuck out of here?
Marv is stuck living in the past. I guess he figures he's at a point in his life where it's worth the risk, but it's incredibly dangerous for him, for Bob, unfortunately. He's not expecting to see the two of them here together.
I don't want to be here. I didn't want to come here. He was waiting in my house when I got back home. I'm sorry, Bob. He has a gun.
It's 10 grand. Yeah. I'm looking to save it too. Time lock, I know, goes off at 2 a.m. You got 90 seconds to close it, or it triggers 2 silent alarms. Now you listen. I'm happy to pay you $10 10 grand for the dog. But that's it.
Yeah.
How much should he pay for you?
Please?
Cousin Marv, you know, he's had some trouble too, Marv. Yeah. Like about 10 years ago, man, he had a problem with the cars. This kid who was into him for a shitload of money. But then kid goes to AC and he hits up a slot machine for 22 grand.
Yeah, so he didn't pay him back and you roughed him up a little.
No, that's not what happened. He paid back Marv. He did. He paid him back every cent. He was a good guy.
158, all right?
What he didn't account for was Marv skimming off his own stash because of his habits and his gambling debts. And this kid just coming out the blue with 22 grand was what do you say? A viable business opportunity. That's my cousin Marv. Do you see where this is going at?
Yeah, kid had to be ripped off.
No. Kid had to be killed. So that nobody knew that he paid Marv back off. So that's what we did.
The reveal is amazing.
So you
Yeah.
killed him?
Yeah, I did. Shot him in the face twice. Then I wrapped his head in a towel. I stabbed him in the chest and his heart so he would bleed out and put him in my bathtub and watched him drain. And I put him in an oil tank with laundry detergent and lye. And I just sealed it back up. You want to know what his name was?
It's Stu, Bob. It's Stu.
His name?
I would not know, Bob.
Yes, you do. This is something you know.
I wouldn't know that, Bob.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know it's Stu. I know it's Stu.
No,
You gotta open the safe.
Listen to me. His name was Richie Whelan. Everybody called him Glory Days?
I killed Richie Whelan, all right?
Sure you did.
Probably one of the most satisfying deaths in fiction, right there.
Fucking punk. You hurt harmless dogs. They can't even defend themselves. I'm tired of you, man. I'm tired of you. You embarrass me.
Yo, I sit on that jury, and Bob walks. I'm just saying. I mean, couldn't have made Eric Deeds more unsympathetic. I mean, just repugnant.
I won't talk about.
I know you won't.
I promise.
Not with these people there. You won't.
Your people, Bob.
No, they're not my people. I'm not them. And I'm not this.
It's very tragic in a way. Marv now knows the plan went sideways, so he has no idea what to do.
Over there, watching the game. Caught my attention because he was on his own.
Maybe it wasn't.
Uh-oh.
No, he was, though.
Well, maybe it wasn't.
Your cousin Marv, he told me he was retiring. He wants you to be the boss of the bar.
Goodbye, Marv.
There's some sins that you commit that you can't come back from, you know, no matter how hard you try. You die, and God, he says, nah, you can't come in. You have to leave now. You have to leave and go away, and you have to be alone. You have to be alone forever.
It's so sad. So now you understand, the guilty conscience, the reason he's not taking communion. He doesn't want to be forgiven. He doesn't deserve it in his eyes.
Carjacking, right. I was in execution. Block and a half from this bar. Anyway, it just fucking sucks and I'm really sorry. Eric Deeds. I mentioned him to you once.
Yeah, I remember.
You didn't then?
No, but I remember you mentioning him.
He was in this bar, Super Bowl Sunday. You see him?
No, there was a lot of people in here on Super Bowl Sunday.
Right. Yeah, it's true. It's just this is the last place he was ever seen, and then just like Richie Whelan. Ironic, because Deeds supposedly killed Whelan.
They could turn up. People do all the time.
That's true. If he does, it'll probably be in a psych ward. Which is where he was the night Whelan disappeared.
Big reveal.
I'm not lying. That's true. Deeds always took credit for the Whelan hit because nobody else wanted to. We thought it would help his street cred, but he didn't kill Whelan.
He didn't?
No one ever sees you coming, do they, Bob?
Such a great line. No, just a little inside, I know, but I know I can't prove anything, but I just want to let you know that I know.
When you left the bar, I know that meant stay away, you know. I know that meant stay away. If you say it, then I will just go. Believe me, Nadia, I will just leave right now, but you have to say it.
Let me go and get my jacket.
Yeah?
Great way to end things. Now, a little bit of hope for him, finally, at the end. Okay, took some time just to gather my thoughts. Fantastic movie, as I said in the beginning. You know, just a really underrated killer film. I wouldn't be surprised if this is, the best movie that you've never seen, honestly, up until you either clicked on this video and thought, hey, what the hell, I'll take a chance, and then watched it. But I really hope people didn't, spoil themselves on the film with my reaction, because that would be honestly heartbreaking, because it's like I said, it's one of those movies that for whatever reason doesn't get the kind of traction that it really deserves, and it's just phenomenal in my opinion. It's near perfect. But yeah, so throughout the film we get these shots of Bob near the boiler room, and you don't really understand the significance, but the camera stays on it and just focuses for a little too long, and it's just enough to kind of get your attention, like, why is it doing that, to like register in your mind a little bit, like, that seems a little weird, why does it keep going back to this, but it keeps doing it. I also love the imagery. You see Bob in red a lot, like the red lighting, and it's always in a very intense moment, but he's always still very calm, but you can see, under the surface that there's a lot of anger and rage there. And probably my favorite movie trope is, underestimating the protagonist. Absolutely love that when a protagonist gets, repeatedly underestimated, and it always leads to great things, because it's an advantage, and when they use that properly, it can be a really big advantage, and Bob used it perfectly. But this super unimposing figure that, like I said, I don't know if he's a little bit slow or just, socially maybe not the most aware, but there's little moments here and there where you kind of question, Bob's intelligence, but that kind of, again, that feeds into, the underestimating him. So just great. I thought the performances were excellent. Tom Hardy's amazing. He can act with his eyes alone, and it's enough to convey meaning. And there's multiple times where he does that in this film. I love the performance by Cousin Marv, James Gandolfini. Rest in peace. But he plays that kind of loan shark scumbag role really well. I mean, honestly, he's had a lot of practice as, Tony Soprano. So anything related to that kind of element, he kind of has the mannerisms down pat. So he can easily step in and play, a Cousin Marv role very easily. I thought Noomi Rapace was really great. She kind of has like a seated like back history that we learn about gradually through the film. The trauma, like, she's kind of just along for the ride, but she's still very good in her role. I also love the detective. I don't know the actor's name, but he was great. Little moments here and there kind of like made him stand out. Like when he, like after the robbery, the initial robbery, when he's talking with Bob, he points out that Bob doesn't take communion, and he's like kind of pushing, like insisting on it, and Bob gets really defensive, and that's the first time he kind of stands up for himself, and it was just a little nudge, but it also establishes that, just in case people didn't notice it, that Bob doesn't take communion. This is kind of important. It'll be important for later. The actor that played Eric Deeds was also really great. Like I said, one of the most repugnant villains in a movie, I could, if ever, like, honestly, because if you want the audience to not like a character, have them hurt an animal, especially a dog. But even more than that, he was just very intimidating and imposing and, off kilter and just unnerving. And I thought he played it perfectly. But yeah, probably the most satisfying death. One of the most satisfying deaths in a movie like ever, because you really really hate that guy. And yeah, the build up was great, the tension during that scene to the lead up, the reveal about Richie Wheeland. And like I said, they establish it in the beginning, like a little nudge, like, hey, here's a toast to glory days. And subtle mentions throughout the film, they just keep bringing it back, just very slightly, very slightly. And then builds up to that great moment. And I love that line at the very end of the movie. No one ever sees you coming, do they, Bob? Like, just a little nudge to between the detective and our guy to say, hey, I know. I just want to let you know that I know. I love that. I love that. I honestly think in time this will be one of the great movies, especially in the mob genre, which it's tangentially related to. I love the fact that it's not, just an outright mob movie. It's like that element is there, but it's at arm's length. Features of it appear through the movie, but really it's an internal struggle, like a guilty conscience, like playing that kind of story just playing itself out. And I love that about this film because you feel for Bob because he did something awful, but you can tell it's eating him away. You don't want to see him alone in the end, and luckily he's not. It's just complex, and more so than you would think, because it appears, like I said, there's a subtle art in this film that I really really enjoy. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So one last thing I just wanted to say. So I'm going to tag some people with this Joe revisits the first one. So CineBinge, Movies with Mary, TBR Schmidt, Just Some Reactions, MovieFusion, James versus Cinema, You, Me, and the Movies. Just some reactors that I personally really respect, and I always end up watching their content. I am an ant in comparison to you, but my sincere hope here is that I can bring a little bit of attention to this movie, and hopefully one or maybe even two of you, if I'm really lucky, end up watching this movie and reacting to it, because like I said, I really feel like this is a movie that doesn't get the credit that it deserves. So if that's at all possible, I would absolutely love that. And I would watch the hell out of that reaction and recommend it to people. But yeah, I just feel like this is a great movie that it really doesn't get the kind of credit that it deserves. And I'm glad I finally have it up on my channel, but it would be absolutely wonderful if other people would do the same, because like I said, I believe at the moment there's literally only one reaction to this movie, and I don't understand why. It just actually really bothers me that no one seems to know about this movie, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why. But yeah, like I said, this is a revisit for me, but if you've never seen this movie, this is a great movie to watch. Just, I will, like I said, I'm an ant that will die on this hill, but it's a good hill to die on, honestly, because this is a great movie. But, hopefully that goes over well. I really hope I don't anger anyone. But, I figure it's worth a chance. Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching, and peace.